Hi, Griffin. Do you want to do book club with me since the other animals have wandered away? Yeah? It'll be Griffin's book club this week. That sound good? Yeah. Right. Hi, everybody. Oh, Rogue is here. Hi, Rogue. It's time for Rogue's Reads, our virtual book club for kids in 4th to 8th grade. Oh, I'll get my phone over. I'm Renee. I am the children's librarian at Salem Public Library in Salem, Ohio. And say we're heading there, but I'm here with Rogue. This is his book club. So he tends to wander off or fall asleep while I'm reading. So I'm not sure how invested he is, but I'm pretty invested in the books at least. This is our last week of Rogue's Reads, so hopefully you have enjoyed. And we are going to finish up The Genius Files, You Only Die Twice by Dan Gutman. And it is published by HarperCollins, so thank you to Dan Gutman and HarperCollins Publishing for allowing us to share this book. Let's see, it is Monday afternoon. Griffin's trying to dig a hole in my couch. I don't know. He's weird. Let's see. Where did we finish up? The very beginning of this book told us that Coke was going to get put into a giant shredder. And we are like halfway through and he has not gone in the shredder yet. So, I don't know. I'm not sure this is truthful. Okay, but where we ended on Friday, remember the evil Elvis had trapped Pepsi in the basement of the Pepsi birthplace in North Carolina and had told her he was going to eat her feet off with the acid in Pepsi, which is not true. I mean, I don't think it's good for your skin, but I don't think it can actually like eat through your flesh, and that's what Coke told her when he rescued her. But then they saw an Elvis impersonator and Coke attacked him. Was the wrong guy. So I think Coke and Pepper are a little on edge at this point, and I think I probably would be too. So we are on chapter 19, South of the Border. I apologize, my neighborhood is really noisy today. We've got some cars being worked on and stuff outside, so, and I don't have air conditioning, so it's really hot in here. Oh, good reasons to actually be at the library instead of my house. It's nice and cool there. All right. So, oh, Daisy Ray's here now too. Leave Griffin alone. He doesn't want to play. Yeah, we're doing book club. Okay, so chapter 19, South of the Border. Regular sized things aren't all that interesting, if the truth be known. There's nothing particularly captivating about a normal frying pan or a plain old chest of drawers, but a gigantic frying pan or an enormous chest of drawers or a 12-foot tall ball of twine is inherently fascinating. A teeny tiny frying pan or a miniature chest of drawers would also be interesting if such things actually existed, but they don't outside of dollhouses. It's extremely big things that command our attention. There's something fascinating about them. Towns actually compete with each other and argue over which one has the largest whatever in the world. Why is that? While you ponder the question, dear reader, the McDonald family is not waiting around for the answer. They're on the move, chugging along at 60 miles an hour on Highway 117 South before exiting onto Route 41. Listen to this, Mrs. McDonald said as she read from her guidebook. North Carolina not only has the largest frying pan and chest of drawers in the world, it also has the largest tire, the largest lighthouse, the largest hammock, the largest 10 Commandments, the largest Seahawk, and the largest strawberry. That's really interesting, Mom, Coke lied. Who cares what's the biggest anything in the world? Dr. McDonald asked, just looking for trouble. It's not important. I care, Ben, Mrs. McDonald replied, giving him one of those looks, and my readers care. And that was the end of the discussion. Coke took out his cell phone so he could send a message to his sister without his parents listening in. You think Mom is insane? He texted. Just OCD, Pep texted back. It was beautiful country in southern North Carolina. They passed by Baytree Lake and Bladen Lake's state forest. When they reached the town of Lumberton, Dr. McDonald, yes, that's your book, merged onto I-95, the superhighway that extends all the way from Maine down to Florida. And that's when they started seeing these billboards at the side of the road. You never sausage a place. That's a terrible pun. 20 miles to south of the border. Everybody needs a little stuff. 15 miles to south of the border. World's #1 miniature golf. 10 miles to south of the border. It was one after the other. The signs were unrelenting. The farther south they drove, the more frequently these billboards popped up. What does south of the border mean? Pep finally said. Oh, you'll see, her mother replied. And soon another sign appeared in the distance. Welcome to South Carolina! Woohoo, Coke hollered, the Palmetto State. Oh, and I suppose you know what a palmetto is? Asked Pep. Of course I do, Coke replied. A palmetto is a type of palm tree. During the Revolutionary War, the British attacked a fort here that was made of palmetto trees. The fort didn't fall, so South Carolina became known as the Palmetto State. I hate you, Pep said disgustedly. One of these days, she decided, she would find some obscure fact her brother didn't know. Don't say you hate your brother, said Dr. McDonald. Did you know, Coke informed the family, that in South Carolina, it's illegal to keep a horse in a bathtub? That's a fact. Oh, just shut up already, said Pep. The terrain was very flat, so even before the McDonalds had crossed the state line, they were able to see something very curious several miles in front of them. It was a tower, maybe 200 feet high. As they got closer, they could see that perched on the top of it was, for some reason, a gigantic sombrero. It looks like the Eiffel Tower, Pep marveled after they had pulled off the exit, with a Mexican theme. What is this place? Coke asked, craning his neck to look all around. It's the cheesiest, schlockiest, tackiest tourist trap in the world, replied Dr. McDonald as he pulled into the immortal roadside attraction called South of the Border. Let's go, shouted the twins. Dr. McDonald thought of all the years he had spent in school studying to become a respected historian, and now this? He sighed as he drove the RV between the legs of a huge figure of a mustachioed man named Pedro, who was also wearing a sombrero and holding a big South of the Border sign. The McDonalds drove a big loop around South of the Border, or SOB as it's called, and the whole family was wide-eyed. None of them had ever seen anything like this place. In addition to the usual hotels, souvenir stores, and gas stations, South of the Border has 6 restaurants, including Pedro's Ice Cream Fiesta. It has its own amusement park, Pedro Land, a wedding chapel, and a golf course, the Gulf of Mexico. The whole thing is like a small fake Mexican town spread out over a square mile. It even has its own police and fire department. Scattered around are giant pink flamingos and silly statues of monkeys wearing t-shirts. Is this heaven? Asked Coke. No, his mother replied. It's South Carolina. I've never been to this place, and it does exist. I looked it up. I want to go. It sounds like fun. Everything, it seemed, was neon yellow or pink. It was almost as if South of the Border wasn't sure if it wanted to be a theme park or a truck stop, and it compromised somewhere in the middle. Dr. McDonald found the on-site RV campground, Camp Pedro, of course, and pulled in. Mrs. McDonald was excited and eager to explore the whole place. It was just perfect for amazing but true. You kids go have fun, she instructed as she checked her cell phone for the time. Let's meet back up here at 6 o'clock for dinner. Pep looked at her brother nervously. Whenever they were separated from their parents... Oh, I've got a daisy ray climbing on me. It seemed something bad would happen. She wanted to stick close to her mom and dad, but at the same time, she didn't want to look like a baby. I'll take care of her, Coke said as he put on his backpack. What do you need that for? Dr. McDonald asked. It's my security blanket, Coke replied. Fill it with souvenirs, suggested his mother. Oh, excuse me. As she reached into her purse and gave them some money. You kids be careful, Dr. McDonald said before they parted company. There's always a few creeps running around a place like this. We're always careful, Dad, said Coke. One thing you can say about South of the Border, there's no shortage of souvenirs for sale. The twins didn't have to look more than 5 minutes before they found a store that was stuffed to the rafters with them. This place had everything. Coffee mugs, snow globes, buttons, postcards, glow-in-the-dark knickknacks, hundreds of t-shirts and bumper stickers. There were 8 different kinds of back scratchers. They had serving trays, salt and pepper shakers, and bobblehead Pedro statues. Every cheesy gewgaw and doodad ever invented, it seemed, was right here. Yeah, I need to go to this place. I love stuff like this. I don't even collect any of it, but I would want to go look at it. Hey, check it out, Pep shouted. They have alligator repellent. You never know when this might come in handy. Look, Cook said. He was holding up a pair of underwear with the words, world's largest source of natural gas on the back. Oh, that's terrible. I gotta buy this. After making their purchases, the twins strolled around until they came to the observation tower with the sombrero on top that they had seen from the highway. They went over to get a closer look, and when they got about 10 feet from the bottom of the tower, Pep stopped. These letters were written in yellow chalk on the ground. O-L-L-P-F-K. Coke stopped too. There were no other letters written anywhere on the ground. What is that, he asked. Do you think it's a cipher? Pep said, finishing his sentence for him. It's definitely a cipher. What does it mean? Coke asked, not even bothering to try to figure it out himself. He just wasn't good at that stuff. Give me a minute. Pep stared at the letters intently. The cipher was shorter than others she had seen, so she figured it shouldn't be very hard to crack. She jumbled the letters around in her mind, but that didn't yield many words. Had to be some kind of substitution cipher, in which one letter substitutes for another. But what were the substitutes? She imagined the alphabet in her mind as if it was written across the whiteboard at school. What if everything was moved one letter to the right? So A was really B, and B was really C, and no, that didn't work. And it also wouldn't work if everything was moved 2 letters to the right. It might be a reverse alphabet cipher, Pep said. In that case, A becomes Z, B becomes Y, C becomes X, and so on. Coke took a sheet of paper out of his backpack and wrote out the alphabet. Then he wrote out a reverse alphabet below it. They looked at the letters on the ground again. If this is right, the letter O is an L, Pep said, and the 2 L's would be O's. And the P has to be a K, which means the first word is L-O-O-K. Look, and the second word is. Before Coke had finished deciphering F-K, Pep looked up and saw something falling from the top of the sombrero tower. It was coming down right over their heads. Coke, watch out, she screamed, slamming her body against his with enough force to knock him over. The falling object was a large black garbage bag. It hit the spot where Coke had been standing with so much force that it burst apart, littering the ground with hundreds of what appeared to be small gold trophies. A lot of them were broken on impact. The distant sound of an evil, cackling laugh could be heard. You saved my life, Coke said, still in a daze. If you hadn't figured out the cipher so fast, that stuff would have landed on my head. What are sisters for? Pep bent down and picked up one of the trophies. In fact, they were statues. Souvenir replicas of the observation tower they had fallen from, and made from razor-sharp plastic. If one of these things landed on your head, you wouldn't be getting back up anytime soon. Pep looked at her brother. It's Evil Elvis, or one of his flunkies, she said. He dropped the chest of drawers on me from that giant chest of drawers in North Carolina. He dropped that brain on me when we were at the walk-in brain. Now he's dropping little observation towers out of the observation tower, and he's aiming for you. I'm going to kill him, Coke said, jumping to his feet. Let's go. He ran over to the observation tower and started charging up the steps. Wait, stop, Pep yelled after her brother. What if you're wrong like you were when you attacked that guy at the frying pan? I'm going to kill him, Coke repeated. There was no stopping him. Pep ran and followed her brother up the steps. The tower was higher than either of them realized, and by the time they got up to the top, they were both gasping for breath. Where is he? Coke asked, looking around with a wild look in his eyes. I'm going to kill him. But for better or worse, the observation deck at the top of the tower was completely empty. Evil Elvis, or whoever had been up there, was gone. Maybe he had parachuted off while the twins were climbing the steps. Maybe a helicopter had come and scooped him off the top of the tower. There was no way of knowing. The giant sombrero covered the top of the tower and served as a great scenic lookout. After their breathing returned to normal, Coke and Pep walked all the way around the brim, looking down to see if they could spot Evil Elvis. There were hundreds of people walking around south of the border, but none of them was wearing a white jumpsuit. After 5 minutes, they gave up and just looked at the scenery. From this high vantage point, they could see all south of the border. And that's when Coke spotted this sign. Boom, pow, the fireworks superstore. He looked at it for a moment, and slowly a smile spread over his face. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, he asked. That depends on what you're thinking. I'm thinking we buy some fireworks, Coke said. Are you crazy? Look, Coke said to his sister, you know as well as I do that evil Elvis is trying to kill us. We both agreed that we need some weapons to defend ourselves. Maya and Bones said they won't give us any, so we have to get them on our own. And there they are, waiting for us to take them away. Fireworks are dangerous, Pep protested. Every year I see stories on the news about kids getting hurt because some fireworks blew their finger off or took their eye out. Well, of course fireworks are dangerous, Coke said. That's why we need them. If they weren't dangerous, they wouldn't do us any good, right? We need to show this evil Elvis creep who he's dealing with. Come on. Coke started charging down the stairs of the observation tower, almost as quickly as he had charged up them a few minutes earlier. Pep, lacking any better plan, followed him. I don't feel good about this, she said. Chapter 20, Bang for Your Buck. Let me do the talking, okay? Coke told his sister as they approached the front of Boom Pow, the fireworks superstore. Okay. Before they opened the door, Coke took out his wallet to see how much money he had. Minus the $5 he had spent on gag underwear at the souvenir store, there were $50 he had saved from raking leaves back home, plus the money his mother had given him. Do you have any money? He asked Pep. I have $40, she replied, but that's the money Mom gave me, plus all my babysitting money. I don't want to spend it all on fireworks. Look, Coke said, evil Elvis is trying to kill us. Do you grasp the magnitude of that? He's trying to kill us. He's got weapons. You know what they say, desperate times call for desperate measures. We need all the firepower we can afford. Okay, Pep said, handing over the money she had worked so hard to earn. There were big signs plastered all over the window of the store. Call us before your next party or special event. Get more bang for your buck. Come here for all your pyro needs. Coke pulled open the door. The place was huge. It looked a little bit like a supermarket, but instead of aisles marked soup, dairy, and frozen food, they were marked missiles, rockets, aerial repeaters, and Roman candles. The twins picked an aisle randomly to walk down. It was jammed with all sorts of explosives and scary-looking packages with names like Midnight Dynamite, Purple Powerhouse, Nuclear Warhead, Sky Slammer, Freaky Tiki, and Hairy Eyeball. This isn't a store, Pep marveled. It's an arsenal. If this place ever catches on fire, Coke said, I just hope I'm here to watch it blow. A tall, skinny, and extremely well-pimpled employee wearing a Boom Pow t-shirt came toward them. He looked like a high school kid, and his name tag said Trey. I'm sorry, but you gotta be 18 years old to buy fireworks, you know, Trey told them. You two don't look 18. Let me handle this, Coke whispered to his sister. This redneck looks pretty dumb. He's probably the result of some serious inbreeding. Ooh, that's a mean thing to say. Coke straightened his posture to address the kid. You're right, technically, he said, but we're dizygotic twins. So 2 fertilized eggs were implanted in our mother's uterus wall at the same time. In other words, together, we're 26 years old. Coke glanced at Pep to make sure she wasn't going to open her big fat mouth. Trey stared at the two of them for a moment, looking back and forth from one to the other. Okay, he finally said, what do you need? We figured we'd buy some firecrackers, Pep said. Firecrackers? Trey spit on the floor, then hollered, Hey guys, get this! These kids want to buy firecrackers! A few men standing around the cash register started falling all over themselves like it was the funniest thing they had ever heard. I thought we agreed that I would do the talking, Coke whispered to his sister angrily. Then he put one arm on Trey's shoulder and said, She's just kidding. We want the real stuff. Well, now you're talking, Trey said. We got Mega Bangers, Herbies, California Candles, Texas Rockets, Killer Comets, Triple Whistler Bottle Rockets, anything you want. The X-18 Mega Blast is on sale this week. How much money are you thinking to spend? We have $100 and change, Coke said. Maybe you can make some recommendations. Trey said, picking up a large box from the shelf. Let me see. We just got in these American Beauties, and they're 500-gram cakes that explode in red, white, and blue with white strobes. Or maybe you'd rather go with a barrel buster. The blast opens up like a round of machine gun fire. It's awesome. Which one makes the biggest explosion? Coke asked. Well, Trey said. Both of them are pretty intense. I mean, you get too close to either of these babies and you'll have a headache that'll last you a lifetime. But if you're looking for a flat out, blow out the ears power, I'm thinking the best thing for you might be our classic repeater 4-pack. 4 repeaters in one package: green bamboo, big snow, yellow bees, and cloud dragon. Wow, you sure know a lot about fireworks, Coke said. Yeah, Trey replied. I'm sort of into blowing stuff up. Who isn't, said Coke. I'm not, said Pep. Well, you're a girl, Trey said with a laugh. Then he and Coke high-fived each other. I don't like all this boys versus girls stuff in this book, I have to admit. There are plenty of girls that like blowing stuff up, and I'm sure there are plenty of boys who don't. You can do some serious damage with this stuff, Coke said. You ain't kidding, Buster, Trey agreed. It's like having a missile silo in your own backyard. Listen, you look like good kids. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. For $100, you can have the classic repeater 4-pack, and I'll throw in an exploding mosquito for free. It has the maximum powder content allowed for helicopters. Cool, said Coke. Thanks. Don't mention it, Trey said. And because the 4th of July is over and we're trying to get rid of inventory, you can also have a silver stunner. It includes a free fiberglass launching tube. Wow! And just so you know, Trey continued, everything we sell comes with a 100% no-dud guarantee. We stand behind our products. But you shouldn't stand behind our products. That's a little fireworks joke there. You see, if you stand behind our products, you might get your head blown off. We get it, Pep said, unamused. Trey walked the twins to the cash register and rang up their purchases. Do you need any racks or tubes, he asked. Artillery shells? No, thanks. We're good, Coke said, stuffing the explosives into his backpack. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Have a nice day, and thank you for shopping at Boom Pow. And after they left the fireworks store, Coke and Pep stopped off at a place called Reptile Lagoon that had all kinds of snakes, crocodiles, alligators, and turtles. They spent about an hour there looking at all the reptiles. By the time they were finished, it was close to 6 o'clock. When they got back to the RV, their parents were cooking hot dogs and hamburgers on the outdoor grill. Coke ditched the backpack full of fireworks discreetly behind his seat. Isn't this place great? Asked Mrs. McDonald excitedly. Did you kids buy any good souvenirs? What'd you get? I bought a can of alligator repellent, Pep said. And I got a pair of underwear that says world's largest source of natural gas, said Coke. That's not funny, his mother said disapprovingly. Hey, you're the one who bought the poop on you toilet seat, Coke said. The gag toilet seat Mrs. McDonald had bought at the Mustard Museum in Wisconsin was still sitting in the back of the RV. He's got you there, dear, said Dr. McDonald. The burgers and dogs were excellent, and after dinner, the whole family took a walk to the other end of south of the border for ice cream and around a miniature golf. By the 9th hole, Coke had nearly forgotten that just a few hours earlier, someone at the top of the observation deck had dropped a bag full of observation deck statues on him. When they got back to the RV, it was dark outside. Mrs. McDonald went to update Amazing But True while Dr. McDonald checked on the barbecue pit. There were still a few red-hot embers in there, so he carefully placed some sticks on top and blew them to make the fire come back to life again. Hey kids, come here, he said. I want to tell you a story, like in the old days. Coke rolled his eyes. When they were little, their father would come into their room at night, sit down on the floor, put an arm around each twin, and tell them stories. Oh, that sounds nice. Sometimes it was a fable he remembered from his own childhood. Other times he would just make something up as he went along. It was nice. But the twins were 13 now. It seemed a little babyish to still be listening to your dad tell you a bedtime story. But the twins sat on the wooden bench next to the fire and cuddled with their father anyway, for old time's sake. Did I ever tell you the story of Blackbeard the pirate? He asked them. We saw the movie, Dad, Pep said. Johnny Depp was in it. Not that story, Dr. McDonald said softly. It happened not far from here, off the Carolina coast. He was born in 1680, and his real name was Edward Teach, but everyone called him Blackbeard. I guess he had a black beard, huh, Dad? Asked Coke. Yeah, I guess so. And he tied colored ribbons to it, and he wore a big black hat and a big black coat. Even during the summer, Pep asked. Must have been really hot. Shh, her father said. This is a true story. Under the coat, Blackbeard would hide a sword, some knives, and 2 pistols. And he would look for trading vessels along the coast that were transporting valuable cargo, and then he'd board them and rob them. If somebody put up a fight, he'd kill them. What a jerk, said Pep. Oh, Blackbeard was a bad guy, her father continued. He attacked and pillaged ships all along the Carolina coast, started around 1717, and then one day they got him. The governor of Virginia sighted Blackbeard's ship, and the governor ordered his crew to hide below decks. When Blackbeard boarded the ship, the crew attacked him. And for all the heartache he had caused so many people, they stabbed him 20 times, and they shot him 5 times. After all that, he still wasn't dead, so they hanged him. That's the story? Asked Coke. He seemed to remember that the stories his dad used to tell had happy endings, and there were usually furry animals and candy involved. No, that's only part of the story, Dr. McDonald said, almost whispering now. Here's the thing. After they stabbed, shot, and hanged Blackbeard, they chopped off his head and put it on a stick for everyone to see. Then they threw his body into the ocean. This story's getting gross, Dad, said Pep. What happened next? Asked Coke. Well, according to local legend, Dr. McDonald told the twins, the body didn't sink into the water like everyone expected. Instead, Blackbeard's head on a stick started shrieking, and his headless body swam around the ship. Without a head? Asked Pep. Yep, and it swam around the ship 7 times. Pep felt the hairs on her arms go up. Not only that, Dr. McDonald continued, but to this day, a lot of locals around here claim to have seen Blackbeard's headless body floating on the waves and giving off a mysterious phosphorescent glow. Some people say they've seen it rise out of the water with a lantern and walk ashore to search for its head. His ghost leaves no footprints, so we don't know where it is. He could be out here right now. And that's the story of Blackbeard the pirate. Oh, great, Pep said. And you expect me to go to sleep after hearing that? I'll protect you, Coke said as they went inside the RV to brush their teeth and get ready for bed. Pep had a hard time falling asleep that night. She was lying on her back thinking about Blackbeard when suddenly she bolted upright. Do you hear something? She asked Coke, shaking him to wake him up. Huh? It's just Blackbeard's headless body looking for his head, Coke told her. Go back to bed. I hear music, Pep said. You're hallucinating. But it wasn't Blackbeard's body walking around in the middle of the night looking for its head. It was evil Elvis standing right outside their RV with a little CD boombox. He held it against the metal exterior of the RV and pushed the play button. Don't be cruel came out of the speakers. For the rest of the night, Coke and Pep would not be able to get those words out of their heads. Oh no, evil Elvis found him again. Yikes. Well, that is where we're going to stop for today because we've actually already ran pretty long. I just want to make sure that we have time to finish this book before the end of the week. So I may run a little long each day just to make sure we finish it up before book club is over on Friday. Thank you guys for listening. Hopefully you're following along with me. I guess I do still have Griffin over here. Rogue was here, but he left because, he does that. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the sunshine.